You have a chain lube that you like better than this at the moment?
No.
Okay,
No.
so you think I might have just given you your new favorite lube?
You might have given me my new favorite lube.
All right, everybody. Injury time means it's kind of like, I don't know, when the weather sucks and you have to do all those chores at home that you've been putting it off because you can't do anything else that's cool. Injury time means reviewing products that you've been using for a really long time and you like, but you've just been too busy to really make time to do those. Yeah. This chain lube is one of those products. So let's learn about AMTBer products, dark matter and 5311 wax-based lubes. So Kevin, thank you for coming in and obviously putting in a bunch of time. He has broken a ton of chains. He has a real job, so that means he gets to ride bikes a lot more than we do. And so when he was reaching out asking us about what chain lubes we're using, if we are snapping chains as much as he is, we said no. How about we give you a bunch of different lubes to try out and some chains, and you can let us know what your thoughts are. This 5311 AMTBer product was one of the, I think, 3 or 4 options that we gave you. We gave you a cleaning product as well as this dark matter, which is their heaviest, thickest wax-based lube. One that we use a lot. This bottle is now about empty, right?
Yeah.
So it definitely has got some use. We don't have the cleaner product in here, sorry. But that is an essential step I think you're gonna talk about and maybe take it away from here when I gave you this stuff. What had you been using prior and what were your thoughts after getting this on the bike the first time?
Before you gave me these and I used these, I was using a muck-off dry lube. I was going through a lot of chains, I'm not sure why, but figured to remove a variable, we would try a different lube. And so we tried some of this product, and the first time I put it on, as we mentioned, there's a cleaner. You have to clean your chain really well. And I didn't actually clean my chain very well the first time I used it.
Did you use the cleaner at all the first time?
I did.
But just kind of half-assed?
But yes, exactly.
Okay.
When I took a picture of the chain close up afterwards, there was a ton of residual stuff all over it, and I realized I didn't clean it very well. I thought it was pretty good. I thought, yeah, it's a noticeable improvement, but it's not game changing. So then I came back, cleaned the chain properly.
Did you take it off the bike to do that?
No, I did not.
Okay.
Too lazy to do that. I cleaned it really thoroughly the second time round and then applied the dark matter. And I noticed this time round there was considerably more rides without having to re-lube.
And how often are you typically re-lubing when you're doing the muck off or other lubes?
With the muck off, because it's a dry lube, and I think there's a very little resistance with the formula. I was using it every ride.
Okay.
If I was going on 10, 12 mile rides, I would clean the chain and reapply it for the next ride every time.
Okay.
With this, similar amount of use and rides, doing 10, 12, 14 mile rides. And this is on a meat bike primarily for those kinds of distances, but I would be applying this maybe every 6 to 10 rides. So
okay.
That's basically half as much application as the next best lube that you gave me to test, which was the graphene one.
Okay. All right. So something I think that's worth mentioning, right? Especially for people, like you said, who are lazy,
yeah,
or don't have the know-how or desire to take a chain off. When I first met the owner of this company, he thoroughly cleaned the chain on the bike as well. That cleaning product is really easy to use, and it's also kind of a waxy based cleaner that you just squirt on, really forcefully use a toothbrush, like is what they used. Yep. Push it into all the pins, links, get everything out, wipe it down, redo that process again. I don't know if you found that you needed to do it multiple times, but it was a pretty simple and easy, thorough cleaning process.
Yeah.
One of the things that I noticed right away, and maybe you can say yes or no on your experience, was the first ride that I got on it was in Southern California on my home trails where I grew up. And it was the quietest ride I'd ever been on in terms of like chain noise. Like I left the parking lot and started climbing up, and I was like, man, I just rode here yesterday on this same bike, you know? And I was like, I can't even feel the chain.
Right.
Like it was just buttery smooth.
Yeah.
The shifts were nice, and it was so quiet. And I was on an e-bike, which, you know, they're pretty known for, you know, wreaking havoc on drivetrains and chains. So I was really blown away at how quiet and most notably how smooth the chain felt going over the drivetrain drivetrain. It was just really impressive.
I would agree 100%. When I first got on it, I was with a couple friends in the woods, and I was like, listen to that. And they were like, listen to what? I was like, exactly. That's zero noise coming from my drivetrain. And that lasted nearly the entire ride, that quiet, right? Up until, as everything heats up on an e-bike drivetrain system, you start to get a tiny bit more noise, but in general, it was like a liquid metal. It was so smooth.
Okay. Now, it's not all, well, I guess it's not all good. It's not all bad either, but they have some pretty big claims on their website in terms of mileage and lasting. You don't think that's entirely accurate, at least on an e-bike application? Or e-mountain bike, maybe?
Yeah, I think, maybe when they tested those high numbers for longevity of the lube, maybe it was in a lab environment. I don't know how they tested and got those numbers, but in real world applications, again, in Central Oregon with the volcanic soils and the fine particulates that basically just break down these lubes fast, I don't think you're getting the claimed mileage, but you are definitely getting an extended ride time with one session of lube application for sure.
What would you say on an e-bike? How many miles do you think you're getting out of that?
I think, for me personally, I've got a T-type drivetrain, and I think that might make a difference, right? On what chain you're running, what cassette you're running, how much power you're putting through the system. But I would say easily 6 to 10 rides before a notable, like, less fluid, less buttery, less quiet drivetrain.
Okay, out of your e-bike ride.
Yeah.
Okay.
And those are typically over 18 miles, right, with 3,000 plus foot climbing and these kinds of areas.
Okay.
In order to get its peak performance and peak longevity, you have to put the first stage of the cleaning thoroughly, which we mentioned earlier. I didn't do well the first time.
Sure.
Second time I did to get that longevity.
Sure. But now that you've done that cleaning once, you don't have to do it again.
Right. You don't have to do it every time you put the lube on, right? You're done.
Sure.
But
I mean, that's a 10-minute process. Would you say that was worth it for not having to leave your bike every ride anymore?
I would.
Okay.
I would say it's worth it.
And you haven't broken a chain since?
I haven't broken a chain since, and for the record, since we started testing these lubes, none of us have broken any of the chains with the 3 lubes that I've tested, primarily the 3.
Okay. Something that's worth noting also that we didn't touch on is that this is alcohol as the carrier. A lot of other wax-based lubes aren't using alcohol, and something that's, I think, really important and clever is that alcohol dries quickly once it's out in the air. So it is important that you use this top and don't leave the little nozzle applicator tip on, because it'll dry out. But the fact that he's using alcohol means you don't have to apply it the night before like so many other wax lubes. You don't have to give it 24 hours or 12 hours. You can literally put this on in a parking lot, brush it on. By the time you get kitted up, that alcohol's evaporated and you're good to go. And that I think is a really neat feature.
Yeah, and that is exactly what I did for the second correct application.
Okay.
I put it on in the morning, went and got my kit on, went out the door and rode, and it was good to go.
Okay, there you go. And so this guy is a bit of a tinkerer. On his website, you can also find this SAG card. And we'll link to his website down below. This is not a paid review. We don't get a commission out of this at all, but Cole, behind the camera there, liked this unit so much during our e-bike shootout that he went home and actually bought several of these to have on hand. And this little SAG guard has got a number of really useful measurements, from millimeter ruler to percentages for setting up sag, right? For test riders and people like us who are constantly swapping between bikes back and forth, being able to see all those numbers and knowing where you're at quickly and easily, and just being able to shove that in your pocket or your pack is really neat. So there you go, AMTBer products. Not the best name, not the easiest to say, but quite possibly the best lube out on the market. Something I think we highly recommend you check out.
Jeff, one other question. I didn't look up the price of that one, and I didn't see a sticker on it. Do you know what that retails for roughly?
I don't.
No.
I don't.
That'd be good to know, because
what would be the most you would pay for that lube, having used it?
Great question. That's where I was going with that. The little graphene one.
Yes.
Is $50 for, I think it's 50 mils. It's $1 a milliliter, right?
$1 a milliliter.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm pretty sure that is more expensive in this product.
For sure.
But how much would I pay for that? You know, 25 to 30, I suppose, would be a fair ask.
Okay.
Because you'll
Especially
use...
for out, I mean, you kind of, I think
Yeah.
you kind of use a lot, but it also lasts longer.
That's right. I'd have to think about that question a little bit more to have a better answer. But maybe $35 is reasonable as well, based off that longevity.
So we pulled prices up. Currently on sale for $16.99. Retail is $20. So
It's a good price point,
yeah,
I think.
that's pretty solid.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think this is an officially Loam Wolf endorsed chain lube product. Highly, highly recommend this thing for those of you who are okay applying a wax-based lube and using a little toothbrush. We like this stuff a lot.
Yeah,
You're a
for
fan?
sure.
All right. There it is. Thanks, guys, for watching. Make sure you stay tuned for lots more videos, and hopefully we'll see you out on the trails soon.